Today I'm going to talk about some ways my wife and I make our marriage work. Yesterday I talked about how much I appreciate her. The first one is by far the most important one, and it is to communicate with your partner and to always be honest with them. If my wife has BO, I'm going to let her know. If she asks me if I like an outfit, I'm going to tell her no if I don't like it. Now I know a lot of guys are like, oh, you must be in trouble a lot. Which brings me to number 2. We don't have that kind of relationship where we're giving each other permission to do things, where we're getting on to each other like we're the other one's parent. If I want to grow a mustache, I don't need my wife's permission. If she wants to start collecting stamps, she doesn't need my permission. Normally, it's only one person in the relationship giving the other person permission to do things, and that creates an extremely unhealthy dynamic. When the relationship is tilted in that manner, one person has bitterness and the other person has greed. Which brings me to number 3, which is kind of similar to number 2, which is we consider the money we make to be our money. It shows that we are a unit. Whenever one person has their money and the other person has their money, it creates a lot of suspicion, and the other person wants to see just exactly what you've been spending your money on. Now, for tax reasons, I do have to have a business account and a personal account separate from that, but I still consider all of that money to be our money, not my money. Number 4, now this goes for me because my wife isn't here to speak for herself, but I'm pretty sure I know what she thinks on this one. If somebody tells me something negative about my wife and expects me to keep it a secret, that's not going to happen. First of all, you should have just went to her directly instead of me. Second of all, I know she appreciates it if I tell her what they said because now she knows how they feel and it's not hidden. And third of all, telling a secret is a dirty way of passing on a burden, and what I mean by that is, well, it's not that person's burden anymore. They have now told it. It's not a secret to them anymore. Now it's your secret. Luke 12:3 says, whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light. Last one, and this is definitely the hardest. We try to let each other sit in our negative emotions when we're having those. And that usually means sadness or anger, rather than trying to fix the way they're feeling or to just join in on the way they're feeling and double down, which just makes everything 10 times worse. Now you're both griping and in a bad mood. And if they're feeling a certain way about something from the past, we try to let them just sit in that rather than saying, no, that didn't happen, because you don't want to gaslight them, because now they're just stuck in emotional purgatory.